The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Between 2 and 3 each trading day, we meet and discuss the affairs of the stock markets and other markets also. Today, as we meet, the S&P is off 4 points. Was off 10 points earlier, 11 points, something like that. And we're going to get into it. But for the most part, what we do see is that on December 5th, 1996, pretty much with about 2 months of when I started trading, there was a big speech, and it came out, and it was the one in which Alan Greenspan brought up irrational exuberance as unduly escalated asset values, which then become subject to unexpected and prolonged contractions as they have in Japan over the last decade. So this is always pointed out as a part where the Fed doesn't believe what it actually preaches. And of course, if you look at a chart after that, with a slight blip that day, it was pretty much ignored. Of course, this morning, around 10:30, Janet Yellen was in front of Congress. She'll be in front of Congress tomorrow also. But what we see out there is her saying valuation metrics in some sectors do appear substantially stretched, particularly those for smaller firms in the social media and biotechnology industries. Despite a notable downturn in equity prices for such firms early in this year, she also said the housing sector blows chunks. But other than that, not a lot of reaction to that part, but a lot of reaction to the part of looking at social media stocks and other stocks where you've got 10 years worth of earnings increases already priced into a stock, something like Tesla. She basically picked on Facebook and some of the other big, well-known social media stocks as probably being just a tad high in value. And, of course, some of these stocks, if they can find a way to actually turn cash into gold, can be worth it. The problem is that everybody's already put all the upside into these stocks, at least as far as she's concerned. The Fed is reticent to get involved in the individual stock market. I had people tweeting out things like, okay, what's your price target on Netflix, Mrs. Yellen? That kind of sniping from the peanut gallery. But what we do know is that she's at least trying to raise some specters of a value in this marketplace, which I will give her kudos for. Initially, everybody said, well, maybe she's acting just a little hawkish out here. And, of course, it didn't take long before everybody was spinning it to the fact, well, she doesn't really mean it. Probably just like Alan Greenspan didn't mean it either. After a couple of years actually, I think it was 3 months later, he was way on after the irrational exuberance. Irrational exuberance speech. About 2-3 months later, he was back to being a full-time dove. Oh, just let it go any way we want to. And, of course, ended up with policies that actually blew the market apart and that we'll be spending the rest of our lives because we've already spent this money, of course, to get the economy going again. Of course, it had a big downturn in stuff like especially a lot of things that we look at TFNN around here, like the IBB It was off 2.25%. It's off just under 2% as we speak. And, of course, when we look at the markets being off 3 points now, 2.1 billion shares as we start the show. So a pretty active volume day down. But, of course, there's no way that we can let this market close down. It's not allowed, and every dip must be bought, and they're going to try to do it now. So certain sectors, especially commodities and gold and energy, especially crude, down today. I think they think, for the most part, it is one of these things that the Fed talks about but will never back up. And I think it's a good sign that we probably are in a bubble, that within a couple hours of actually reacting to being in a bubble, everybody's discounted it and poo-pooed it, and it's all going away. And what else can you say? I wanted to start the day with that before we got into Histoire. Normally we do it the first thing in the program, but especially with people talking about Boeing today, I wanted to bring up that on this day in 1916, William Boeing, a Yale-educated aeronautical engineer, incorporates the Pacific Aero Products in Seattle for $100,000. He keeps 998 of the 1,000 shares of stock for himself. In 1970, he renames his firm the Boeing Airplane Company. Boeing later makes jet travel an accepted part of everyday life. And who hadn't want to be and want to fly around in a B-17 and a B-25? I've been lucky enough to be in both of them, and what a treat. Now, the one that I haven't been in is a P-51 Mustang. That's my last plane that I really want to be in. Haven't gotten to it yet. Anyway, yesterday, I guess this is really on the same theme of us being in a bubble, because it, for the most part, pretty bubbly out there. So we will continue to look for that. But I guess maybe it's the arguments I've seen in financial infotainment over the last couple of days. But I always like bringing this up, and it's a short history of financial euphoria. Great book. It's about 130 pages. Very fast read from John Kenneth Galbraith from 1993. But he goes back to 1600s and tulips and all that. But he wrote one paragraph, and I've got this almost tattooed on my forehead. The euphoric episode is protected and sustained by the will of those who are involved in order to justify the circumstances that are making them rich. And it is equally protected by the will to ignore, exercise, or condemn those who express doubts. And started to get that a little bit yesterday. I'll get into it in just a second. He has all the stages of a bubble, and I've gone over these before, but I know we always get new listeners. I hope you get new listeners. The inventors are declared geniuses. This is the first stage of a bubble. After the initial run, additional leverage is encouraged and provided. Anyone that says the bubble is ready to burst is attacked or ridiculed. The bubble bursts. The public never blames itself for its greed. The geniuses are prosecuted, exiled, or killed. When's the last time you saw a Greenspan? Does he sleep with fishes? He certainly hides. I tell you, maybe he's in witness protection. A recession and a depression occurs that last years. Politicians pass new worthless law, Dodd-Frank, and a new generation comes along and occurs all over again. And this seems to just be happening faster and faster. Now, the reason part of this was that I brought this up is old Santelli went off on a rant yesterday. And the problem is that that if you do something horrible or wrong, let's say you smoke cigarettes, just because you don't die the next day, people say, well, you know, that's okay. And it's very similar to finance when you start going around and monkeying with finance. It's like monkeying with Mother Nature. You don't do it. We learned that from margarine commercials in the 70s. But any kind of thing that takes a while to go wrong is normally poo-pooed, and that's why bubbles continue to move. I'm still rich today. I was rich yesterday. I'm richer today. The bubble goes on. And, of course, he was getting ripped upon by somebody that I don't have a great deal of respect for, because, of course, his profession is basically always wrong, worse than a weatherman from 30 years ago. But Santelli asked another panelist whether easy money had contributed to the last crisis. When Mike Murphy replied, yes, Santelli replied, then why don't we get some hindsight early now? And the question is whether we ever can. Every time Fed presidents have decided to make accommodations, they've always been late to the party and caused inflation. Now, the question is whether or not they've screwed it up so bad that we've got disinflation now. And we're looking at gold prices under $1,300. Might be. That's exactly what's happened. But there is no alternative reality where we did the right thing and we're already out of this and we've got full employment and we don't have to monkey with all the numbers. But it goes for anything. I always use the example of about 1935, where everybody knew that we were going to go to war with Germany, but no one wanted to do anything. No one wanted to be known as the guy that started a war. War would have lasted all about 5 minutes in 1935, but we have to wait until 1939 until 70 million people die in the Second World War. Now, all the people that avoided getting into the war in 1935 pretty much get a free pass. The guy that is called the killer is the guy that goes in there early. We never see that alternate reality later where all the lives were saved and why being an adult, especially in finance or leading a country, is pretty much a thankless job. Everybody wants you to be the candy man, the weekend daddy that doesn't have to make sure that the kids do their homework at night. And I give Santelli a gold star, because it's happened so many times in history. We know it's going to happen again. But no one wants to get some hindsight early these days. A little bit more on the first tweet and dump, CYNK technology. The reporting on this just gets better and better. Apparently, we've tracked down a couple of brothers who own the company. Pretty much it was sold to a friend of somebody that no one really knows. There were two brothers that actually used to own this company. One has disavowed his brother and thrown the brother under the bus. In fact, got into the bus and backed over him a few times, pulled forward, backed over him again. But this guy looks like he's got a lot more in a long history. You know, anybody could get maybe pulled over and in a fight with a cop and get a record, or even be in the wrong place at the wrong time once. But this guy's been in the wrong place in a ton of places. And he's got some place down in Belize that he was building as a wonderful $1 million resort. And you go down there and it's kind of like a wharf. That's it, just a bunch of wood and maybe some pilings. Anyway, the pictures on this start to show more and more of what we probably already knew already. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, in our discussion there, a few comments in the den, and I just wanted to bring up this quote because it is one of the ones. I've got about 3 pages of quotes that I go through rather regularly to make me think about how the market actually works. But George Soros, one of his famous quotes is, "All of economic history is one lie and deceit after another. Your job as a speculator is to get on when the lie is being propagated and get off before it's discovered." And if you're quick, not a bad deal. If you want to invest a little bit tougher to get in, some of these lies last longer than others. But I digress. Anyway, what do we get? Gold did break below 1,300. In fact, I didn't see. I don't have a current quote up on it right at the moment. But right now, volume looked good, at least when I was watching it this morning. Implied that breaking 1,300 probably bring it down to the 1,275 area. A break of 1,275 would take you back to 1,230. Break of 1,230 would take you back to 1,180. Now, is this just a market gas? It doesn't look like it, mostly because, as we've been showing over the last 4 or 5 trading days, the chart showed a substantial weakness in the miners. And, of course, people, the way that they were playing these things back and forth and basically trying to buy every dip like it was the general market, probably an indication that there's some problems. Of course, we're also seeing crude go underneath $100 today, and some people kind of trying to hold it up there. My guess is that the weight is building, though, for the market to crack, and even if it doesn't crack today, Yellen's going to have another swing at the bat tomorrow. So my guess is that they'll be asking more questions out there. But probably the best thing that she could do is let some steam out of this market. I suspect that the reason we're seeing a weakness in gold and in crude is because of China. The warnings from the settlement bank that we talked about yesterday continue on with more yesterday warning of big problems in China. And that was a great movie, Big Trouble in Little China. I like that movie. Kurt Russell. I don't think it was Girlfriend of Forever from Laugh-In was in it, but I liked her too. Anyway, we're watching gold, but it looked to me like volume was pretty good today, and I suspect that we've got 1275 lining up. Other things, of course, Mr. Snowden dropping some new tidbits along the way. And right now, it's not the NSA that's under the spotlight. The big brothers in the UK, and their equivalent of their NSA is using all kinds of tools to torment people, such as tweaking the results of online polls, inflating page view counts, censoring video content deemed extremist, and the use of psychological manipulation on targets that they don't like. I guess the NSA was well aware of it because he had the documents on it. But kind of being quiet over here. But the harbinger of evil is not just the NSA, but, of course, a great deal of many others out there also. And I think that's it. Other than that, Netflix is dropping its Saturday coverage and mailings and delivering DVDs on Saturdays. Although I don't know how they actually do that. Maybe they're just not mailing them until over the weekend so that they arrive on Mondays now. But they're switching to a standard 5-day-a-week plan, according to the company's website. Netflix generally processes shipments Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. So my guess is they're not going to be processing them so much on Friday for Saturday delivery. Probably for Monday delivery. Maybe they're leaving early on Friday. Who knows? Anyway, I've gotten a ton of email when I've brought up the fact that most of these internet service providers are total evil, the spawn of Satan, and when you look at other kinds of horrific acts in the past, these guys take the cake. But I've got something to play. We're going to play it just before the end of the show. And the next person that tells me Comcast and Verizon and these other companies are not incredibly evil, I'm just going to have to play this again and again until you bow in front of me and say, David, I know you were right. Kind of like, a little less like Santelli. I'm not going to rant on it too long. Anyway, we're going to be back looking at some charts when we come back of what's moving and what's not, and making a few more snide comments along the way. I am coming back.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Had a quick question, and of course, you can always email me at path@tfnn.com, and I will check it. In fact, I need to put this over here for the moment. Did we get anything? Anyway, I will check it. Anyway, you can email me at path@tfnn.com, and you can also give me a ring at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den. And had a question from the den about Solar City and where I think a good place to get back in. To me, this is one of these stocks that I would be extremely wary about. It is a company that makes money only because the government gives them money. And this isn't like I give you money and I give you an F-15 Strike Eagle. This is like I give you money because I like your business and we want to encourage it, but you're a loser of a business, and of course you don't make any money. Without us, you're broke and out of business in 2-3 months. My thought is that this thing's in a big ABC down. Even though the energy coming off this low is pretty good, this thing has a perpetually high short interest rate. I've gotten it a couple of times, and it's also stung me a couple of times short. But I'm not a big fan of these solar companies. If they come up with a solar cell that will last 15, 20 years on somebody's roof and that is highly efficient, I'll be interested in it. But at this point, especially what you can get and how much natural gas costs for a penny, you're going to pay 2 to 4 times as much depending on what you need. Now, if you live in the desert and it would take 100 miles of electrical wire to hook you up, maybe it makes sense for solar. But if you live in a regular city or even a rural area, electricity is always much cheaper from other sources. And just because you put a few solar cells on your roof and make all your neighbors pay for it, all it does is raise everybody's taxes. So I'm not a big fan of these. Now, one day maybe that technology changes and gets over the tipping point of actually being useful. But, I just don't see it. So I have a problem fundamentally knowing that a company costs 2 or 3 or 4 times more than what it costs somewhere else. And also you don't have to put up that money up front. So there's no forward cost of money. You pay your bill as you go. If you move, you don't have a lot invested in it. And yeah, I know there are a lot of subsidies, but all you're really doing is making your neighbors pay for it. And electricity going back to the grid, they pay 2 times what it costs for them to either get it from nuclear power, nuclear power, natural gas, or any other form. So to me, talking about things, this is one where I will quote Buffett. When the tide goes out, you can see who is swimming without a bathing suit. And the question is just when does the music stop on these solar companies and or the technology gets better. But technology been kind of crawling along. I haven't seen any kind of massive jumps. These things are all, 20-25% efficient. And, you need to get about 60% efficient. You need to be able to make these things last more than 10 years on the roof of a house, and these things burn out. Just think of your tiles up there. I mean, you got to put a new roof on every once in a while. What happens when the new roof costs $50,000 or $20,000 or whatever it costs? The question, one of the questions I got here just a second is how long do solar cells last? And the half-life of most of these, i.e. where they either fail or produce half the power, is about 10 years. That's why I've been using that number. So the problem gets into, let's see, another question is, growth in electric lithium-ion batteries production is ramping up huge now through 2019. You see a profitable equity to capitalize on this? No, it's still horribly expensive. You'd be much better buying a $30,000 car with 42 miles per gallon than buying a $80,000 Tesla and having to replace a $20,000, $25,000 battery pack. Now, some of these companies are starting to actually warranty these sales, but all they are doing is trying to keep sales up strong now for what will be a huge back end. And, of course, kind of like I see a lot of pain in this EV market until they figure out how to get the cost of those batteries down. They're going to last about 4.5 years. It's hard for me to get excited. The one car that I am kind of excited about now is that Toyota. The Toyota with supposedly 425-mile range, 3 minutes to fill up with hydrogen and oxygen. It is a fuel cell car. We don't know enough about it other than it's going to be available in the first quarter of next year. But it solves the range. It solves the recharging time. And the downside is that if you put in electricity, you're going to get about 70% back. So if you put in a buck worth of electricity, you'll get 70 cents worth of hydrogen and oxygen. But still incredibly cheap compared to gasoline. So why more expensive than electricity? You don't have the deal where you have to replace a $20,000 or $25,000 battery pack in 4.5 years. You may have to do some maintenance, and it's unclear what technology Toyota is using. But we reported last week about how Toyota is getting recharging stations. And my guess is that solves a lot of issues out there. Range. Uses a pretty much a standard engine design that we are using now for, of course, the electric EV vehicles. This changes the supply of power. And for the most part, it just doesn't make sense to have and use fuel cell technology, but maybe they're going to figure it out. But they're still incredibly expensive. They're within $1,000 of the Tesla S for the Toyota Camry version of their car. So maybe the Tesla's a little better. But I'm thinking that in 10 years, if you keep your Toyota 10 years, at least you haven't paid another $20,000 for the battery pack. But we'll have to see what kind of fuel cell problems come. And Elon Musk really rattling and calling fuel cells some pretty horrible things makes me think that he does protest too much. So what else do we have? Worn down battery. Somebody sent me an article where the Leaf was going to allow you to pay $100 a month in advance, and then if your battery packs ever fell to a certain level, you could get all new battery pack. But again, probably good for the customer, probably bad for Nissan and their Leaf. And I think old Tesla's got a problem too, and that comes when a lot of these ones that they've warrantied crap out early. It is going to be a $20,000 bill written off if they're still in business. My guess is that long before then, the stock price plummets and they have to sell out. That's just my thought. Two, what happens if much battery technology comes along and Tesla's already spent $1.5 billion on their battery factory only to find out that technology has moved past them on lithium ions. So a very tough market to be in. And, if anybody wants to call me and ask more questions or try to poke holes in my logic, you can at 877-927-6648. Anyway, back to some other stuff out here. Aaron's, of course, dropped the Baby Ruth in the punch bowl, much like Janet Yellen did today. This thing's off fairly strong. Let me get the headline here and read it. Someone's also saying 100,000 minutes, whatever comes first. Aaron's changed the directors and principal officers. So they lost something. And exhibits, let's see here. I've got the reason. Diluted earnings, okay, are falling 4.5% to $32 after it lowered its second quarter adjusted diluted earnings guidance to a range of 34 cents. But all these retailers, doesn't matter whether they're renting or outright selling, these retailers, doesn't matter whether they're electronic or clothes. If you're in a strip mall or in a mall, your results have been pretty poor. And Aaron's, which tends to be in a freestanding buildings, as I've seen, I've never been in one. I've seen their ads. But down, volumes picked up pretty good. There's a high volume move back here between the $27 and $28 range, where this is a nice, huge, fat gap. My guess is this is coming back to that level one more time. Arcadia Pharmaceuticals, of course, this thing opened up fairly decently. Let's to go back and look at this one. What is this? ACAD. Let's find it on my list here. New CFO and business officer, and of course they're in the pharmaceutical business tangentially to biotechs. Not having a good day on those, but probably transitional news on that one, not a big deal. Arcadado, I can't even say it, Anadarko Petroleum Company. Let's take a quick look at the news on that. One of the few pops up here in this market. Get away from that. Higher sales from mineral interests, popping that stock. Fairly decent volume, 6 million shares. Going to go after this $112.06 high from June 23rd. We were talking about Best Buy. This thing may be looking for or Bed Bath & Beyond, may be looking at a good opportunity for a short sale. On this one, it has not come back and tested this low at $54.96. I've been calling this Bed Bath & Below because it's been, you've got two decent gaps. This thing really looks like it's setting up for a 3-gap play down, and the next gap would probably be in that $50 range, maybe $45 range. And we've got some decent news on it now. When's earnings on this thing? Take a quick earnings date. Next earnings is September 23rd. So have to keep an eye on this one. But this one's certainly setting up for a 3-gap play. And maybe this gap's down in September once again. But these guys have had a hard problem making money. And, take a look at some other. Of course, a Citigroup, a nice little pop out here today. Finding news on old Citigroup out here. What is it? I don't find it right off. It looks like it's going to go up against the 49.59 high from June 9th. Needs 24 million shares. It's got 24 million shares today, so look for this thing to at least get to the 49.59, I would imagine, tomorrow. So we've got a couple of minutes left in this segment. GoPro, they are engineering a wonderful short squeeze on this today. Short interest had been piling up on this one. And they came out with all kinds of bogus upgrades from underwriters of the company. And they had 2 or 3 of them out here today. No end to the amount of joy in GoPro and Blue Sky out here. If anybody's listened to this show when this went public, it went as high as almost a $5 billion worth of market cap. On any kind of standard metric, maybe worth $1 billion and a half dollars. So my guess is this one's going to come back down. You're going to have a chance to buy it much lower, but it's kind of the Reese's Pieces of companies right now. It's not a consumer electronics company. It's a media company. Less filling, better taste, all those kind of arguments out there, but. I had a feeling that they had a lot of people short the stock, and they decided this morning to smoke them and smite them, almost biblically out here. So take a look at that. JPM, not a big deal. Michael Coors has been just absolutely slaughtered by analysts over the last couple of days, and some more foul news comes its way, down with heavy volume, but still this gap, trying to fill this gap that happened on the 3rd of February, where this thing really started taking off on the 4th with 23 million shares. So this thing's going to fill it. And if you wanted to buy a stock that was coming back into support, Michael Coors doesn't look all that bad out here. 12 million shares so far today. Let's say it finishes with 15. Probably going to go sideways for a little while and do some consolidation, but this has got a high volume high back at $98.96, and one of the better ones looking at here. When we get back, we're going to look at Lexmark, and I'm going to play a little bit of that clip about Comcast, the denizens of evil that they are. I'll be back in a minute.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, just checking in, 2.3 billion shares with about 3 points on the S&P cash. Tried to go positive, didn't do it. We'll see how the market closes. But certainly much stronger volume in the downside than we've seen, kind of it drift up here a little bit higher. But we'll continue to watch this. But I wanted to get into the last stock and then a few minutes of a wonderful conversation with a Comcast representative. And next person that tells me, of course, that Comcast is wonderful, I'll play it again. Anyway, Lexmark International was watching this one, and of course, they don't make it easy to short these, and I was watching it and hopefully getting an opportunity. But this thing had come up and tested the April 4th high, $47.98 with 1.1 million. Been up here on a light volume. July 3rd, it was up for 500,000 shares. Of course, that was July 3rd. But, even yesterday up on 500,000 shares yet again. And, of course, you get the news and the thing falls out of bed. But probably headed back down to this high volume low on April 22nd. This one has been worked on fairly strongly. Anyway, to go back and do this and get to that. Anyway, this is a audio segment from a well-known blogger who was moving and didn't want Comcast any longer, and he's trying to cancel his subscription to the internet.
Actually, by the end of next week, you're going to be 105 megabits per second for your internet. That's you that speed.
Okay, we'd like to disconnect. We'd like to disconnect, please.
Okay, so why is it that you don't want the faster speed? Help me understand why you don't want faster internet.
Help me understand why you can't just disconnect us.
Because my job is to have a conversation with you about keeping your service, about finding out why it is that you're looking to cancel the service.
I don't understand. Is this
if you don't want to talk to me, you can definitely go into the Comcast store and disconnect your service there. Okay.
We're just asking for you to
kill two birds with one stone. You got to return that cable card to the store anyways.
We're actually going to just mail the cable card in, but if you can just please cancel our service, that would be great. That is all we want.
We're actually not able to return a cable card by mail.
Then I will send someone like a TaskRabbit to go return the cable card for us. I don't personally intend to go return the cable card. That's why we're probably not going to be canceling in store. So that's why I need you to cancel by phone. So can you cancel us by phone? The answer is yes, correct?
It sounds like you don't want to go over this information with me. If you're not wanting to go over that information, okay, then that's the easiest way to get your account disconnected.
I am declining to state why we are leaving Comcast because I don't owe you an explanation. So if you can please proceed to the next question. If you have to fill out your form, that's fine. Please proceed to the next question, and we'll attempt to answer that if possible.
So, being that we are the number one provider of internet and TV service in the entire country, why is it that you're not wanting to have the number one rated internet service, number one rated TV service available?
I'm declining to state we're switching providers. Can you please go to the next question?
Okay. So what is it about us towns that's making you want to change to them?
I'm declining to state. Can you please go to the next question so we can cancel our service?
Anyway, that goes on for about 7-8 minutes longer. If anybody wants the link, you can email me at path@tfnn.com, and I'll put it in the den too. But I tell you what, it goes on and on and on for about 10 minutes, and of course Comcast is trying to weasel out of it, but basically it amounts to them paying a huge amount to make sure no one ever quits, and you can see it in the way they treat their customers. Anyway, you can catch me tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. Remember, so when you can, not when you have to. Be back in just a short 23 hours.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.